The plasma round missed my head by 3 inches. I didn't flinch. I'd calculated the trajectory 6 hours ago when I first spotted her thermal signature on the ridge. Commander Vera Kethshan, of the Dominion's elite hunter corps, had been tracking me across 3 continents for 6 months. What she didn't know was that I'd been aware of her presence since day 1. Every close call, every narrow escape had been choreographed. I was the bait, and she was walking into a trap she couldn't see. Human, her voice crackled through the valley, amplified by her helmet's speakers. You've led me on an impressive chase, but it ends here. I stepped out from behind the boulder, hands raised but not in surrender. My combat vest was torn, my face weathered by months of calculated retreat. Master Sergeant Cole Harrison, formerly of Earth's 117th Tactical Operations Unit, now the most wanted human in Dominion space. She descended from the ridge with the fluid grace of a predator. 7 feet of lean muscle covered in obsidian armor, her 4 eyes glowing amber in the fading light. The Kethari were apex hunters, their entire civilization built on the pursuit and conquest of worthy prey. And I had become her obsession. 6 months, she said, stopping 20 meters away. Her plasma rifle was aimed at my chest, but I noticed her finger wasn't on the trigger. Curious. No human has ever evaded a hunter commander for more than 3 weeks. Maybe your previous targets weren't trying hard enough. Her mandibles clicked, their equivalent of a laugh, though there was no humor in it. Arrogance. Your species' most consistent trait. Is it arrogance if I can back it up? She tilted her head, studying me with those 4 unblinking eyes. The Kethari didn't understand humans. To them we were soft, short-lived, technologically inferior. We'd been conquered in 18 months, our military shattered, our colonies absorbed into the Dominion. But they'd made a critical error. They'd assumed conquest meant submission. You have no weapons, Vera observed. No ship. No eyes. Your resistance cell was eliminated 2 months ago. What exactly do you think you can back up? I smiled. The alien Huntress tracked me for 6 months. I was waiting for her. For the first time, I saw uncertainty flicker across her features. Her grip on the rifle tightened. Explain. You're not here to kill me, Commander. If you were, you'd have taken the shot on Kepler Station, or on the transport over Nexus Prime, or any of the dozen other times you had a clear line. I lowered my hands slowly. You're here because your fleet is dying, and you need something only a human can give you. The silence stretched between us. In the distance, thunder rolled across the alien sky, or maybe it was orbital bombardment. Hard to tell these days. How do you know about the swarm? She finally asked, her voice stripped of its earlier confidence. Because I've been feeding you intelligence for 6 months. Every escape led you closer to the truth. Every near misses was a breadcrumb. I reached into my vest pocket, slowly, and pulled out a data chip. The Vexnar swarm has been consuming Dominion worlds for 3 years. Your high command has been hiding the losses. But you know, don't you? You've seen the reports they tried to bury. Vera's rifle lowered an inch. Your intelligence. Not a refugee. I'm both. Earth fell, but we didn't stop fighting. We just got smarter about it. I tossed the chip at her feet. That contains the location of a Vexnar hive ship. The one that's been coordinating attacks on your outer colonies. Your fleet can't find it because you're looking for conventional signatures. But humans, we learned to think like prey a long time ago. We know how predators hide. She stared at the chip like it might explode. Why would you help the Dominion? We conquered your world. Because the Vexnar don't conquer, they consume. Every biomass, every resource, every living thing. Gone. If they finish with the Dominion, Earth is next. I met her gaze steadily. I don't like you, Commander, but I need you alive. Vera picked up the chip, her claws scraping against the metal casing. When she looked at me again, something had shifted in her expression. Not trust. The Kethari didn't trust anyone. But recognition, perhaps. The acknowledgement of a fellow predator. If this is a trap, then you'll kill me. But you already knew that wasn't going to happen today. I gestured toward the horizon where shuttle was hidden. Your fleet is 3 days out. The hive ship will be vulnerable for exactly 6 hours during its regeneration cycle. That's your window. And what do you want in return? A seat at the table. When this is over, humanity gets a voice in what comes next. Her mandibles clicked again, but this time it sounded almost like respect. You've been planning this since before we met. I've been planning this since Earth fell, Commander. You were just the right piece at the right time. She holstered her rifle, a gesture of profound significance among the Kethari. A hunter only disarmed before worthy prey, or recognized equals. You're either the most dangerous human I've ever encountered, she said, or the most foolish. Why not both? The Dominion battlecruiser Void's edge cut through subspace like a blade through silk. I stood in the tactical center, surrounded by officers who looked at me like I was something they'd scraped off their boots. This is unacceptable. Fleet Commander Rethvor's voice resonated through the chamber, his massive frame towering over the holographic display. A human in our war room, advising our strategy. The High Command will have your commission, Vera. The High Command is why we're losing this war, Vera replied coolly. She stood beside me, not in front, not behind, but beside. I noted the positioning. Their strategies have cost us 47 worlds. This human's intelligence has been accurate every time. He's a conquered species, a resource, nothing more. I'd heard variations of this argument for 3 days. The Kethari military hierarchy was rigid, built on millennia of tradition. Humans were prey, useful for labor, occasionally entertaining in their resistance, but never equals. Never advisors. Fleet Commander, I said, keeping my voice level. How many ships have you lost to the Vex-Nar in the last cycle? Rethvor's eyes narrowed. That information is classified. 17. Including 2 carrier groups and the orbital defense station over Keth Prime. I pulled up the data on the holographic display. Information I shouldn't have had access to, which made its appearance all the more effective. The Vex-Nar aren't fighting a conventional war. They're not trying to hold territory or negotiate terms. They're harvesting. And your traditional tactics are feeding them exactly what they need. You dare. He's right. The voice came from the far end of the table. Admiral Shenkai, the oldest officer present. Her scales faded to pale gray with age. I've commanded fleets for 60 cycles. I've never seen an enemy like this. Our doctrine assumes rational actors. The swarm has no rationality. Only hunger. Rethvor sputtered, but Shenkai's rank silenced him. She turned her ancient eyes toward me. Speak, human. What do you propose? I expanded the holographic display, showing the star system where the hive ship was hidden. The Vex-Nar hive ships are mobile command centers. They coordinate the smaller swarm elements, process harvested biomass, and spawn new attack waves. Destroy the hive ship, and every Vex-Nar unit in 3 sectors goes dormant for approximately 40 hours while they establish new command links. We know this, Rethvor growled. The problem is finding them. They don't emit standard signatures. Because you're looking for energy outputs. The Vex-Nar are biological. They don't use reactors or engines like you do. They use gravity manipulation and organic propulsion. I highlighted a region of seemingly empty space, but they still need to eat. And when a hive ship feeds, it creates a specific pattern of gravitational distortion. Subtle but detectable if you know what to look for. Vera stepped forward. My hunter training included tracking prey by environmental disturbance. The principle is the same. Exactly. The hive ship is here. I zoomed in on a dense asteroid field. It's been feeding on the mineral-rich asteroids, building up mass for a spawning cycle. In 18 hours it will enter regeneration, a 6-hour window where its defenses drop by 60%. And you expect us to trust this intelligence? Rethvor demanded. From a human? I expect you to verify it. I transmitted coordinates to his personal display. Send a stealth probe. If I'm wrong, you've lost nothing but time. If I'm right, you have a chance to turn this war around. The silence that followed was heavy with tension. I could feel Vera's gaze on me, evaluating. She'd staked her reputation on bringing me here. If I failed, her career was over. Possibly her life. Admiral Shenkai made a sound that might have been a sigh. Send the probe. We'll reconvene when we have confirmation. As the officers filed out, Rethvor paused beside me. If this is a trap, human, I will personally ensure your death is slow. Noted. When we were alone, Vera turned to face me. You're remarkably calm for someone surrounded by enemies. I've been surrounded by enemies since Earth fell. You get used to it. She moved closer, and I was struck again by her sheer physical presence. The Kethari were built for combat. Every line of her body spoke of lethal efficiency. But there was something else in her expression now. Something that looked almost like curiosity. Why did you let me track you? The truth. I considered lying. It would have been easier, safer. But something about the way she asked, direct, without pretense, demanded honesty. Because I needed someone in the Dominion military who would listen, someone who'd seen enough to question the official narrative. I met her gaze. Your record showed independent thinking. Unconventional tactics. 3 reprimands for disobeying direct orders when you believed they were wrong. You researched me. I researched everyone. You were the best option. Her mandibles twitched. I'm not sure if I should be flattered or insulted. Be practical. It's what's kept both of us alive. She was quiet for a moment. Then, the other humans I've hunted, they fought, they ran, they begged. You did none of those things. You planned. You manipulated. You turned your own capture into a strategic asset. She tilted her head. My people underestimate yours. I'm beginning to think that's a mistake. It's the mistake every conqueror makes. You see the surrender and assume it means defeat. But humans don't think in terms of single battles. We think in terms of wars. Generations. We'll lose 100 fights to win the one that matters. A dangerous philosophy. It's kept us alive for 200,000 years. How old is the Dominion? She didn't answer, but I saw the flicker of something in her eyes. Recognition, perhaps. Or the beginning of respect. The probe's data came back 4 hours later. The hive ship was exactly where I'd said it would be. The assault began at 400 ship time. I watched from the Void's Edge Tactical Center as the Dominion fleet dropped out of subspace in perfect formation. 12 battlecruisers, 36 destroyers, and 200 fighter craft. The largest concentration of firepower the Keth Ari had deployed in a decade. And it wasn't going to be enough. Contact! The sensor officer's voice cracked with tension. Multiple Vexnar signatures emerging from the asteroid field. Count as Emperor's Blood. Count as over 3,000. The holographic display bloomed with red icons. The swarm poured out of the asteroids like blood from a wound. Each unit a nightmare of chitin and bioplasma dot up. They moved with terrible coordination, flowing around the Dominion formation like water around stones. The hive ship is launching interceptors, Vera reported from her position at the command station. It's not in regeneration. It's fully active. I felt cold settle in my stomach. That's not possible. The cycle was confirmed. It accelerated the cycle. It knew we were coming. Admiral Shenkai's voice was grim. We've been anticipated. The first Dominion destroyer vanished in a bloom of fire as a dozen swarm units converged on it simultaneously. Then another. Then 3 more. All ships, defensive formation. Rethfor bellowed. Concentrate fire on the larger units. But the swarm didn't have larger units. That was the problem. Each individual was small, fast, and expendable. For every one the Dominion guns destroyed, 10 more took its place. They weren't trying to win through superior firepower. They were trying to overwhelm through sheer numbers. We need to retreat, Shinkai said. Regroup and no. The word was out of my mouth before I could stop it. Every Kethari eye in the room turned toward me. If we retreat now, the hive ship escapes. It will spawn a new swarm twice this size. We'll never get another chance. We're losing ships by the minute. Rethfor snarled. Your intelligence was wrong, human. This is a slaughter. My intelligence was right. The hive ship should be in regeneration. I stared at the display, my mind racing. Something was wrong. The swarm's behavior, the timing, the sheer number of units. It didn't match any previous engagement pattern. Then, I saw it. The hive ship isn't commanding them. I pushed past a startled officer to reach the main display. Look at the attack patterns. They're reactive, not coordinated. The swarm is operating on instinct. Vera moved to my side, studying the data. He's right. Standard Vexnar tactics involve layered assault waves. This is chaos. Then why aren't we winning? Rethfor demanded. Because chaos is what they want us to see. I highlighted a section of the asteroid field that had remained suspiciously quiet. The hive ship is in regeneration. But it's not where we thought. It moved before we arrived and left a decoy signature. The swarm we're fighting is a rear guard. Expendable units meant to buy time. Where is the real hive ship? I ran the calculations in my head, factoring in gravitational distortions, energy consumption rates, and the swarm's defensive positioning. There. I marked a location deep within the asteroid field. Behind the densest concentration of debris, our sensors can't penetrate, and our ships can't navigate the field without being torn apart. Then, it's unreachable, Shinkai said. Not for a small craft. A fighter could thread through the asteroids if the pilot was skilled enough. I looked at Vera. Or a Hunter's personal shuttle. She understood immediately. You want me to take you in? I want you to get me close. I'll do the rest. That's suicide, Rethfor said. Even if you reach the hive ship, what can 2 people do against? I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to feed it. The silence that followed was absolute. I pulled up the schematics I'd been carrying since Earth fell. Before the conquest, human scientists were developing a biological weapon against the Vexnar. An engineered virus that targets their neural architecture. It was never deployed because we were conquered before it could be completed. I met Shenkai's ancient eyes. I completed it. The virus is in my bloodstream. Has been for 8 months. Vera's intake of breath was sharp. You infected yourself. I made myself into a delivery system. The virus is inert until it contacts Vexnar biology. Once the hive ship consumes me, the virus will spread through its neural network. Every swarm unit connected to it will die within hours. You'll die, Vera said. It wasn't a question, probably. But the hive ship dies with me. And without it, the Dominion has a chance. Rethfor stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. You planned this. From the beginning. The intelligence, the tracking, letting yourself be captured. It was all to get here. To this moment. Humanity doesn't have fleets or armies anymore. We have ourselves. And we're willing to spend our lives if it means our species survives. I turned to Vera. Will you take me? She was silent for a long moment. Around us the battle raged. More ships dying. More swarm units pouring from the asteroids. The Dominion was losing. Everyone in the room knew it. I'll take you, Vera said finally. But I'm not leaving you there alone. Commander, you said humans think in terms of wars, not battles. So do hunters. She moved toward the exit, pausing at the door. If you're going to die for your species, the least I can do is make sure it counts. The asteroid field was a nightmare of spinning rock and lethal debris. Vera piloted her shuttle through gaps that shouldn't have existed, her 4 eyes tracking multiple trajectories simultaneously. I sat in the co-pilot seat, watching death pass inches from the hull. You're not actually planning to die, she said without looking at me. What makes you say that? Because you're too clever for a simple sacrifice play. You have a contingency. I smiled despite myself. The virus will kill the hive ship. That part is true. But Vexnar biology processes foreign materials slowly. If I can get out within 20 minutes of infection, the virus won't have spread to my system yet. 20 minutes inside a hive ship, while it's trying to consume you. I didn't say it was a good plan. She made that clicking sound again. Definitely laughter this time. Humans. You're all insane. We prefer creatively desperate. The hive ship emerged from the asteroid shadow like a moon made of meat. It was massive. 3 kilometers of pulsing organic matter, studded with weapon nodules and sensor clusters. Even in regeneration, it radiated malevolence. I'm detecting an opening in the lower hemisphere, Vera reported. Feeding intake. It's partially dilated. That's our entry point. Get me as close as you can. She pushed the shuttle harder, weaving through the last of the asteroids. The hive ship's automated defenses were sluggish, still recovering from the regeneration cycle. Plasma bursts flashed past us, but Vera's reflexes were faster. 30 seconds to the intake. I moved to the airlock, checking my equipment one final time. Breather mask, emergency beacon, and a single fragmentation grenade, just in case the virus didn't work. Cold eye. Vera's voice stopped me. She'd never used my first name before. When this is over, if you survive, the Dominion will owe humanity a debt. I'm not doing this for debt, I know. That's why it matters. She turned to face me, and for a moment, the hunter's mask slipped. I saw exhaustion beneath it. Loneliness. The weight of a war that had taken everything from her except duty. My people don't understand sacrifice without expectation of return. It's foreign to us. But I'm beginning to understand why humans are so hard to conquer. We're stubborn. You're more than that. She held my gaze. Your hope. Irrational, inexplicable hope. Even when everything says you should surrender, you don't. You find another way. The shuttle shuddered as we entered the hive ship's gravity well. No more time for words. 20 minutes, I said. If I'm not out by then, I'll wait 25. Then I'll destroy the intake and seal you inside. Fair enough. I cycled the airlock and dropped into hell. The interior of the hive ship was worse than I'd imagined. Walls of living tissue pulsed around me, secreting fluids that hissed against my suit. The air was thick with spores and the stench of digestion. Somewhere in the distance I could hear the swarm, thousands of units moving through arterial corridors, responding to the intrusion. I ran. The neural center was deep in the ship's core, a massive cluster of ganglia that coordinated every swarm unit in the sector. I followed the pulse of bioelectricity, dodging tendrils that reached for me, firing my sidearm at anything that got too close. 15 minutes. The swarm found me at the 12-minute mark. They poured from the walls like antibodies attacking an infection, which I supposed was exactly what I was. I fought through them, taking wounds I couldn't afford, burning through ammunition I couldn't replace. 10 minutes. The neural center was a cathedral of flesh. Massive nerve clusters hung from the ceiling like chandeliers, pulsing with sickly light. At the center, a pool of digestive fluid waited, the ship's primary consumption chamber. I didn't hesitate. I dove in. The pain was immediate and absolute. The fluid began breaking down my suit, then my skin. I felt the virus activate, spreading from my bloodstream into the surrounding tissue. The hive ship screamed, a psychic wail that echoed through every connected unit. 8 minutes. I fought toward the surface, my body failing, my vision darkening. The virus was working. I could feel the neural tissue dying around me, the swarm's coordination collapsing. But I was dying too. 6 minutes. A hand grabbed my arm. Impossible. I looked up through fluid-burned eyes and saw Vera, her armor scarred and smoking, pulling me from the pool. I told you to wait at the shuttle. I don't take orders from humans. She hauled me over her shoulder and ran. The hive ship was dying around us. Walls collapsed, corridors flooded with toxic fluids. Swarm units felt twitching as their neural links severed. Vera moved through the chaos like she'd been born for it, because she had. She was a hunter, and this was the ultimate hunt. We reached the shuttle with 40 seconds to spare. Vera threw me inside, sealed the airlock, and punched the engines to maximum. Behind us, the hive ship convulsed once, twice, and then went still. In the tactical display, I watched 3,000 swarm units drop dead simultaneously. It worked, I breathed. It worked. Vera set the autopilot and moved to where I lay. Her medical scanner hummed over my wounds. You'll live. Barely. The virus didn't fully integrate with your system. Told you I had a contingency. You had a 20% chance of survival. That's not a contingency. That's gambling. Humans are good at gambling. She made a sound that might have been exasperation or admiration. Probably both. The Dominion fleet is reporting total swarm collapse across 3 sectors. Admiral Shenkai is calling it the greatest victory in a decade. Good. Then she'll support my proposal. What proposal? I sat up, ignoring the pain. Humanity rejoins the galactic community, not as a conquered species, as allies. We share our knowledge of the Vexnar, our biological weapons research, our tactical innovations. In exchange, we get representation. A voice. Vera studied me for a long moment. You planned this too. The whole thing, the chase, the intelligence, the sacrifice. It was all to get humanity a seat at the table. I told you. We think in terms of wars, not battles. And what about us? She gestured between us. Was this part of your plan? Making me complicit in human liberation? No. I met her eyes, all 4 of them. You were the variable I couldn't predict. I needed a Dominion officer who would listen. I got a hunter who would fight beside me. I paused. I got a partner. The word hung in the air between us. Partner. It meant something different to the Kethari, something deeper than alliance, more binding than friendship. The war isn't over, Vera said finally. The Vexnar have other hive ships, other swarms. I know. Hunting them will take years, maybe decades. I know. She extended her hand, a human gesture she must have learned from watching me. Then I suppose you'll need someone to watch your back. I took her hand. Her grip was strong, her claws careful against my damaged skin. I suppose I will. Outside the viewport, the Dominion fleet was regrouping, already preparing for the next battle. The war would continue. The Vexnar would return. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, humanity was no longer alone. We had allies now. We had a voice. And we had hope. The alien Huntress had tracked me for 6 months. She'd found something she never expected. A future worth fighting for. YouTube description. 1,000 characters. For 6 months, Dominion Hunt Commander Vera Kethshan chased Cole Harrison across 3 continents. Every ambush, every close escape, just out of reach. What she never realized, he'd known she was there from day 1. Cole isn't running. He's bait, pulling the Dominion's most dangerous Huntress toward a truth her high command buried. The Vexnar swarm is consuming worlds, and the Dominion is losing. Humans can track what Dominion sensors can't, and Cole has the coordinates to a hive ship, plus a weapon no one else dares to use. When the assault turns into a slaughter and the hive ship slips into the asteroid shadows, Cole reveals the real plan. A biovirus carried in his own bloodstream. He intends to be eaten, infect the neural core, kill the hive, and collapse thousands of swarm units at once. Vera takes him in, then refuses to leave him behind. They escape the dying hive ship by seconds. 3 sectors go dark. And the hunt becomes an alliance. Humanity earns a seat at the table, not as prey, but as partners. An HFI sci-fi thriller about calculated resistance, sacrifice with a contingency, and the moment a hunter chooses a future worth fighting for. Keywords HIHFIHI. Alien Huntress, Hunter Commander. Tracked for months. Tactical Trap. Vira, Sachon, Cole Harrison, Alien Empire. Vexnar Swarm, Hive Ship. Biological Weapon. Self-sacrifice. Virus Delivery. Asteroid Field. Asteroid Field. Space Battle. Enemies to Allies. Interspecies Alliance. Human Resistance. Humanity. Fuck. Yeah, sci-fi thriller.